This is NewsBreak26 in Southwest New Brunswick. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Here's what's happening in our part of the world. 97.7% of NB Liquor employees have voted in favor of going on strike. But first, U.S. land borders reopened to fully vaccinated Canadians on Monday, November 8th, for the first time since March of 2020. On Sunday night, snowbirds and trailers from across the Maritimes waited in parking lots around St. Stephen for the border to open at the stroke of midnight. By early Monday morning, traffic going from St. Stephen to Calais, Maine was once again virtually non-existent. Complicated and costly border requirements for returning travelers are still a major deterrent for day trippers.
In order for individuals to be exempt from quarantine and considered as fully vaccinated, they are going to be entering their information in the ArriveCan app. Now that is mandatory. In the app, you will enter your copy of vaccination, a copy of a negative COVID-19 molecular test. Now the test cannot be more than 72 hours old by the time you arrive at the border crossing. You also have the option of a positive COVID-19 test, and that has to be between 14 days and 180 days. A quarantine plan will also have to be entered in case that you test positive later or that you're deemed not to be exempt.
COVID-19 molecular tests can cost over $150 per person. Critics argue that requiring a negative PCR test drives up the cost for travelers, but doesn't actually provide more protection, since a rapid test upon re-entering would better detect more recent COVID-19 exposures on the trip over. Health Canada recently stated that the PCR testing policy was being actively looked at, so expect more to follow in the weeks ahead. Children under 12 who are traveling with fully vaccinated parents won't need to quarantine upon re-entering Canada, but they still will have to stay home from school or daycare for 14 days. On Tuesday, NB Liquor employees voted in favor of joining the other 20,000 Canadian Union of Public Employees across New Brunswick who have been on strike for nearly 2 weeks.
The members have spoken, and they've made it very clear. They want a fair deal, and they are ready to walk until a fair deal is presented or achieved. As of November 16th at 12:01 a.m., Local 963 will be in a legal strike position. Thank you.
Premier Blaine Higgs says the offer he made last week to CUPE for an average wage increase of 15% over 5 years, as well as retroactive pay for those with expired contracts, still stands. One of the major holdups in the labor dispute, however, is the pension plans for 2 school-based locals. Higgs says he wants independent actuaries to determine a suitable pension model for the 2 locals.
There is no request to all of a sudden accept a shared risk model at all. It's a request to agree to the process to determine a model that would indeed ensure the pensions are safe and secure and they are fundable.
CUPE NB President Stephen Dross says it was the province that put the pension plans in financial trouble to begin with.
We can't ask 2 groups to convert their pension so the rest of us can get paid. He owes one group $69 million, a pension plan that they have purposely not funded, and he could owe another group over $30 million. That's over $100 million that the government may have purposely underfunded these pensions. And again, these workers have always made their payments.
While workers in the healthcare sector have been mandated back to work, schools remain closed for the 2nd week in a row, with New Brunswick children continuing their education online. That's all the news I have for you. For more stories and live-streamed COVID-19 updates for the province, follow us on Facebook at CHCO.TV.
A news and public affairs production of CHCO-TV, New Brunswick's only source for independent community television.